Godzilla in the MonsterVerse has never stayed the same. He has always changed every time he appears on screen. The only time he remained somewhat similar is between King of the Monsters and in GVK. And yet even in the last movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, he seems to be more irradiated than in KOTM. Godzilla's ever-evolving nature isn't actually new. In fact, there has never been a Godzilla that stayed the same in design. Even the Showa and Heisei designs differed slightly from one movie to another. Hell, even his origins tell us of a mutation or an evolving element intrinsic to the G-Man. This theme was followed in more recent Millennium movies, in the anime, in Shin Godzilla and Singular Point. So Godzilla here in the MonsterVerse is basically sticking to the source material. Otherwise, by not changing, he would divert from it. Okay, now this video will describe all the 5 times Godzilla evolved in the MonsterVerse, why and how as well. The first evolution. So from what to what, right? Okay, so the base form here is the 1954 Godzilla that actually appeared just a few days back in Monarch: The Legacy of Monsters, that new series. And the evolved form is the 2014 OG design, the first MonsterVerse Godzilla form that we saw on the big screen. The 1954 and the 2014 were very similar, with only body height, belly roundness, and dorsal plate size that is different. So Godzilla was struck by the Castle Bravo nuclear bomb in the Bikini Atolls, and because of it, he was forced to absorb a tremendous amount of radiation, which not just damaged his body but also filled it with a momentous amount of energy. So due to this, he grew from 300 feet or 90 meters to 355 feet or 108 meters. His dorsal plates grew big as well, even relative to his size, and his belly got round. So that's the first evolution we can infer for the G-Man in the MonsterVerse. There might be prior ones, but since there is no visual evidence, there is no crime. The first transformation was a reaction to the bomb, evolving to be able to bear a future nuclear blast and absorb the radiation. The second evolution. So this is the most known one though. The change from Godzilla 2014 to Godzilla 2019, or the King of the Monsters form. Here, the cause is due to a death battle with the Muto Prime, which is an ancient parasitic enemy species who was known to have killed at least 2 more individuals of the Gojira species in the past. In the battle, Godzilla was initially outmatched and his straight jagged dorsal plates were shattered by the sonic screech of the Muto. Thankfully, with the aid of Emma Russell, somehow he got a grip on the distracted Prime and defeated it with a nuclear pulse from his destroyed plates, and also stomping his head later on. So after the battle, Godzilla went into recovery mode, and for almost a year, he disappeared only to reappear in 2015 in The Legacy of Monsters, with a larger size and a more maple leaf shaped row of dorsal plates. As to why these changes came to be, well, he had to grow bigger to be able to take on another Muto Prime if the time comes, and the differently shaped plates were to counter the resonance of the sonic screech of the Muto Prime, and also the larger sizes comes with a greater capacity for atomic energy storage and output in the form of a more powerful and more intense atomic breath heat ray. The third evolution, a temporary one. So this one right here is stated to be a temporary evolution or a transformation, but still is one nonetheless. Here Godzilla, even with the evolved KOTM form, was unable to best Monster Zero in a fight on land. And after the 3-headed dragon got juiced up with electricity from the power grid, he was done for. There was also a couple of factors that actually forced his evolution. One was the nuclear bomb that Serizawa detonated in his lair when he was recovering, and unlike the Castle Bravo nuke, which was in the open air, meaning a lot of the energy and radiation was wasted everywhere, here the nuke was blasted in a confined space, and therefore there was more reflection and being stuck in the same place, so more substantial radiation was absorbed by the body of Godzilla, which made him overloaded with it to a point of coming to melting down. But thankfully Mothra's life essence here, which is a unique symbiosis with Godzilla, allowed the Big G's body to actually evolve into a burning form which could unleash a set of nuclear pulses that not only burnt off the body of Monster Zero but also released the excess radiation that would have otherwise been fatal to Godzilla. The fourth evolution. This is a small minor evolution, and it is from the King of the Monsters Godzilla form to the Godzilla vs. Kong the GVK Godzilla form. And what are the actual changes? Well, Godzilla had the same height of 120 meters or 393 feet, the same weight, but there's a stark difference in the way his entire body glowed with atomic energy, and also his dorsal plates was slightly larger. Not that really noticeable to the layman, but to us we could see it. So even though he was able to show intimidation displays in KOTM, why was he glowing more in GVK than in the previous movie? Well, the actual reason is that it is maybe due to the after effects of Mothra's life essence that allowed him to survive the burning form, therefore teaching his G cells to be able to handle more atomic energy, both absorbing and outputting it. It is also a reaction to his fight with Ghidorah, which showed that he wasn't as fast as he needed to be, and that his atomic breath wasn't up to the mark. Thus, as we saw in GVK, Godzilla was more brutal in fighting, had more stamina, more speed, and definitely more agile, and also had a very powerful atomic breath that was able to burn right through the earth to the center to the hollow earth. The fifth evolution. And now this final evolution, the Pinkzilla form. So here in GXK, Godzilla and Kong the New Empire, he will change from the well-known GVK blue to a magenta-based color pattern with respect to the energy glow. If one looks at the electromagnetic spectrum, the pink-violet-magenta coloration has a way higher frequency and energy output than the blue spectrum. That's one thing. The next is his dorsal plates. They will mold and grow to become some sort of crystal amethyst spikes. He will also lose belly fat. He will just lose it all. Grow longer arms and legs and have a spike at the end of the tail, a set of spikes. So what could be the driving factor to this transformation, this drastic evolutionary leap? Well, the pink magenta atomic breath would be a reaction to the proton scream, which bore more power than the blue atomic breath, and I think this new one will generate way more energy. It will beat the previous one of the Mechagodzilla. His new skin texture will also be a response to the proton scream burning his chest in GVK. With respect to his other physical changes, they are all in response to Godzilla being outmatched in the fight against Mechagodzilla in Hong Kong. So now with longer arms, just like Mechagodzilla, longer legs, just like Mechagodzilla, spike at the tail, spikes, somewhat similar to Mechagodzilla's drill at the end of the tail, he will be a match or even be superior to Mechagodzilla. Hell, even Kong was trying to keep up with Godzilla in running, so that shows he has increased in speed to a great extent. So let's take a look at the different forms of radiation for evolution of Godzilla, and these are as follows. The first one was thermonuclear in the form of the Castle Bravo test. The second was geothermal radiation from his lair. Third and fourth, thermonuclear and Mothra's life essence. The fifth evolution is gonna be powered by the Hollow Earth power source, a pink radiation, a unique one, different from the one seen in GVK. So that's all about the evolutionary changes of Godzilla and what he has went through in the MonsterVerse from 1954 till GXK. Now if you like this video, then watch this other one as well, and you do check out our channel as we might have things that you haven't seen before. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, fam.